Hello everybody, welcome back to the Star Wars Conquest mod for Warband. Today, after looking at the Rebel Alliance, we'll be going and looking at the Galactic Empire faction. Let's just go here. Randomly attribute the stats here. Navigation. For legendary rifles. Always forget how potato facey this game gets. And those extra faces aren't doing it any sort of favors. That'll work. So as the Imperial faction, you start with a TIE Fighter as your starter fighter, and Imperial recruits. You also start with an E11 blaster. You're still wearing the same closed vest, but you also have some Imperial Trooper armor you can put on. Imperial hat, black boots, speeder bike, fiber blade. Here, going to this. Same weapons, nothing else has changed other than the Imperial faction here. So, I'm just going to go over a couple things here. First, I'm going to get some credits, just so I can get some gear here, so I can show it off a little bit better. Doesn't appear to be any Stormtrooper armor right here at the moment, which is odd. Normally there's quite a bit of Stormtrooper armor and whatnot on these bigger planets for the Empire, but I think it's because the game just started. I'll be going over both the troop tree and over a little bit of combat with the Imperial troops. I just figure I should get something that so I won't, die instantly, because it has the same issue as standard Warband, where if you die early, your army's kind of screwed because they don't really know how to do anything. Got some Stormtrooper armor on. So there's some here, but not enough, so I think I'll go to Naboo next. Let's hope I don't get caught by any rebels. Looks like I might get caught by Jawas. Yes, Jawas are hostile to everyone. They are one of the many bandit factions in this. They are not very strong. They usually just attack you and then die. Let's put on some standard Imperial Trooper gloves. The Mandalorian stuff all looks very nice. There's also the Royal Guard stuff. They all have these helmet views where if you tap V, I believe it gives you a HUD. It's pretty cool. Here we go. Actual Stormtrooper rifle. So let's get some more recruits here, and then I can show them off for the standard recruits. I know most recruits are all the same, but no, sorry, Palpy. I would full join the Empire, but I'll save the actual fights for a series if that is wanted. Speaking of which, if you'd like a series for this mod, go ahead and like the video. At 10 likes, I will do a series of whichever recommendation is choice. I've already got one person in my previous video who wants me to do a Jawa run, so if we get to 10 likes, I'll do a standard playthrough. If we get to 20 likes, I'll do the Jawa playthrough. If we get to 50 likes, I'll do both. However, if I do both, it would probably be split with longer breaks in between to also do my Thrawn's Revenge series. That series will go until I've captured at least Coruscant and whatnot. But let's try to find some bandits here to duke it out with. Normally Jawas are fucking everywhere, but I'm not seeing as many right now. Let's go to Dathomir's moon, get some more troopers. Maybe I can get no, that's a castle planet. Sometimes these smaller planets will have just castles on them. It's hard to tell the difference between actual planets and those planets. It's very weird. Still no Stormtrooper helmets. Weird. Scout Trooper helmet. This isn't the right armor for a Scout Trooper. So let's keep traveling here. Go to Felucia. Maybe we can find a helmet there. Yeah. Still no Stormtrooper helmets. There's some Imperial Army Trooper helmets. But weirdly enough, there's no Stormtrooper helmets. Normally they're all over the place, so this is really weird. You'd think after playing this mod so much, I'd know exactly where all this stuff is, but you know it's armor, so it's randomized. Ah, here we go. We have 13 recruits against 11 of their recruits. I'm going to fight on the ship. As you see, the Imperial recruits all just get the blaster pistols. I currently have the Imperial heavy rifle here. It's not very well textured, but I believe that's because it was added fairly late in development. It's supposed to be those heavy blasters that you nowadays see on the Mandalorian that the Mandos are stealing. It's supposed to be those heavier variants. I forget their exact designation, but most stuff they're just known as heavy stormtrooper rifles. Or heavy blaster rifles. Ouch. Plastic here. Learn when it comes to these blasters, always just aim center mass. There's no point in aiming anywhere else. As otherwise you'll just miss. Alright. They're pretty standard. These guys had some DL44s as you saw in the last one. Just banning the item pools, I don't need it. Okay, let's start going down the tree here. So we have 2 separate trees for the start. I'll put 6 in each. We got Army and Navy Troopers. Navy Troopers look like this, and they have DH-17s and one other pistol type, I believe. They're not as good as the Rebels Cadets version. And then you have the Army Troopers, which get actual rifles. The Navy Troopers can turn into either Imperial Pilots or Imperial Gunners. Imperial Pilots are the speeder bike variants, the cavalry. And the Imperial Gunners, I believe, are skirmish infantry. Not skirmish infantry, but skirmishers. The Army Troopers can either turn into Imperial Stormtroopers or Imperial Scout Troopers. The Stormtroopers being standard infantry, the Scout Troopers being your snipers. Let's upgrade these guys. Let's do half and half. So you get a general just here. And then we'll do half and half for these guys. Okay, going on the list, Imperial Pilot. As you see, Speeder Bike, they'll just upgrade to an Ace, and then that's it. Speeder Bike Cav is kind of mid, to be honest. The Speeder Bikes die pretty quick to blaster fire, but at the same time, you kind of go with what you got. Since cavalry can be useful, especially for zipping around the back of the enemy and then hitting them from behind. Going down the list, now we have the Imperial Gunner. Ah, yeah, they get heavy weapons. As you see on this guy's back, I believe he has a DLT-19. Going further down the list, we have the standard Imperial Stormtrooper. He's exactly how you expect the Stormtrooper to be. Down the list further, we got the Scout Trooper, which is the Sniper. So let's go ahead and find some more combat for these guys. Oops. I'm just going to ignore that. Did not mean to accept that. So I'm just going to make it seem like that never happened. Here is one of the Stormtrooper variants. This one might actually be a difficult fight for us. They're Incinerator Troopers, which are a variant of the Stormtroopers. They get heavier weapons. As you can see, these first Scout Troopers don't have any marksman rifles. They just have their Scout pistols. Which, while low damage, they're fairly quick firing. So they work. They work about as well as you expect them to work. I'm not doing very much damage to these guys, even with my heavy rifle. Oops. In some mods they have Z bound to a crouch. I forgot whether or not, because those guys are crouching occasionally while firing, but I think that's just one of the fire modes of that blaster in particular. As you can pretty readily see, the Imperial Gunners get their DLT-19s and T-20 E21s, and the pilots get E11 E11 blasters, standard stormtrooper blaster. Even as standard infantry off their speeders, they're still about as decent as a stormtrooper. So, all in all, pretty effective. Might actually let me get a yep. There's a trooper helm. It's an incinerator helm, so it doesn't really fit, but it will work. Plasma gas cartridges, exactly what I have. Okay. Going further down the line, let's go ahead and upgrade these guys to veteran Imperial gunners, which just improves their accuracy. But these guys get something slightly different. We both got standard Imperial Stormtrooper and Stormtrooper Officer. Standard Stormtroopers can upgrade to multiple different types of Stormtroopers, like you just saw the Incinerator Troopers or Nova Troopers. The Imperial Stormtrooper Officer can upgrade to the Imperial Royal Guard. Personally, I never advance them to the Royal Guard because that means sometimes they'll just be stuck with Force Pikes. And let's be honest, Force Pikes, until you close that gap, is just not good. Let's keep hovering around. Go Honager. Get some more troopers. Oops. A little bit of teleport. Why not? Oop. Night Fang Pirates. Come here. Ugh. Whatever. We'll be helping some rebels here, which whenever you help them, they almost always go down to the planet, so you know.
Units have been deployed to the battle.
This is a very weird conglomeration of troops. As you see in the back there's a standard stormtrooper. He looks about as you'd expect. Not too complex. As you see, the veteran Imperial Gunners are very fast, but have very hard-hitting blasters. As you can see here, these are some of the shields I was talking about. They eat blasters pretty well, but under focus fire, they'll generally fall apart. Excuse my stormtrooper aim. There goes my bike. As you can see, bikes, not too good. Melee combat does exist, but you're kind of better off avoiding it, if you can. There's the various stuff you can get. You can also skin Trandoshans. Whenever Trandoshans or Wookiees are in combat, sometimes you'll just skin them. It's kind of grotesque, but, you know, it works. Alright, let's get a couple more army troopers here. And then upgrade these army troopers to stormtroopers. Okay, going down the line. And advance these guys to this. Get a couple more of each. Okay. For these officers, let's upgrade them. They take quite a bit of XP to get to that. As you can see here, Imperial Royal Guard. And then going down the list for these guys, let's split them into two halves for 3 Nova Troopers and 3 Incinerator Troopers. They take quite a bit of XP to get to that point. Incinerator Troopers are our last line, along with Nova Troopers are our last line. They both have their unique armor. These guys featuring their red stripe, while these guys feature their yellow pauldrons. As far as I know, they're basically just better stormtroopers. There's no real difference between the two, other than their armor type. So there's not really this huge difference between those two units. It's just par for the course. It's they're a side unit. If you want to like specialize in having one unit type or not, that kind of thing. Let's try to find one more group of bandits, and then we'll call it a day. Ugh. Oh, where have the bandits gone? Where some pirates, or some Jawas, or some Tuscans, all of the above. There's some slavers, we'll hit those. No, actually we can't, because they're, I forgot, they're manhunters. They're considered manhunters by this anyway. I believe you should be able to attack them, but that's just... Me personally, I prefer being able to attack the manhunters occasionally, because it's just more entertaining that way. Oh, well, you don't have enough, you haven't reduced your honor or attack civilians or whatever, and it's like, why would I need to do that? do get them. Same for the freighters and whatnot. Alright, trying to find some bandits here. Some Jawas. Perfect to finish off the episode. Alright, let's land and fight on a planet of our own volition this time. As you can see, the set pieces are fairly interesting. I'm just going to have the
Units have been deployed to
blaster
the battlefield.
cab charge. If you have them sit still, they generally will die. But when it comes to ground navigation, they're not great. As you see, the incinerator troopers have their heavy weapons, the royal guards have their heavy weapons, and then the incinerator troopers have their heavy blasters. It's the same one that I do. Jawas, as expected, are short, and they have their ion blasters. Their ion blasters mostly do blunt damage, so they generally won't kill your troops, they'll just generally knock them out. They're very fast, but also very weak. 2 blaster shots from just about any blaster will put them down. Another one. Okay, let's try to get our troops to move. I believe everybody here is considered archers. I personally would recommend just changing everybody's stuff to stuff you recognize, from infantry, archers, cavalry, that kind of thing, all to like blasters or snipers, that kind of thing. I think they're stuck on terrain. Try to at least cycle them away from the wall so they can get a better shot. Fire well. That's the other reason I generally like to fight on the ship, is there's less chance for buggy stuff like that, where they just can't navigate. But again, since the mod is cancelled, that's not really anything that's not really anything to be done, unless somebody makes a fork. Which I hope somebody does make a fork, or possibly transfer the mod over. Well, I suppose you can't really transfer it over, but somebody remakes the mod as Bannerlord, so then, they can continuously develop it. Jawas have 2 variants, the Scavenger and the Standard Jawa. They're not really unique. They fire these ion pistols here via ion beam cartridges. They do blunt damage, meaning you can capture prisoners with them, so they're pretty decent. Okay, I believe that... Oh, yes. For these scout troopers, they get their veteran scout trooper and their scout marksman. The scout marksmen turn into snipers. If I go down the line here, turn them into the scout snipers. They don't visually change, but they do get sniper rifles that are pretty dang accurate. The Imperial veteran scout troopers get speeders. So, if you missed your chance to make them into pilots, you can just make them into veteran Imperial scout troopers, I guess, if you want the speeder cav, which, to be honest, if you're fighting on the ship a majority of the time to avoid the bugs on the land battles, are useful. And this is a recommendation I was thinking about holding out on until I got the overviews done, but I would not recommend going into sieges. When it comes to castles and space stations, I would just flat out not recommend it. Your sieging planets is fine, but when you're doing stations, you're basically just put in these big boxes with all the enemies sitting around a corner, and your AI doesn't know how to navigate around it. So, say your clans and your factions invading Manan outpost over here, you're just put in a big box. You're basically put in a shooting gallery the second you round that corner, and the AI does not know how to path to get over there, so the match just goes on and on and on and on and on. I just wanted to include that tidbit at the end as I was talking about the ground combat. So, yeah, if you can, avoid just fighting at these outposts, just invade planets. If your faction's invading outposts, just ignore it. It sucks, but that's kind of the only option you got when it's a turkey shoot. Okay, other than that, though, there's not much unique to the Empire, other than their standard unit tree. So that'll be all for today. I will see you all in the next one when I cover the Hut Cartels. Have a good day.